Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Higurashi When They Cry Chapter 3 Tatarigoroshi. So last time Satoko finally went to school. So she was absent for like 3-4 days I think. And then when she went there, we could see that she was like emotionally it's different, like unstable, something like that. But she was trying to pretend or act normally, I suppose, right? So her friends don't worry. And then later on, Keiichi and the club, the gang, they had the discussions, right, on Satoko's situation, and it became very, very intense, right? So let's see what happens today. I walked forward quite a ways and then turned right where the rice fields ended. I'd never come here before, so I had no idea where to go. I got lost several times, so I may have taken quite a long way around. Maybe I should have gone back home and gotten my bike first. It would have made everyone else worry if I'd asked them, so I asked one of our other classmates where Satoko's actual house was. The house was originally her family's, apparently not their uncle's and his wife's. Their house had been bigger, so they had taken it for themselves. Right here. Didn't we see this scene? I think was it with Mion on chapter 2? Yeah, when she was telling her history of the Onigafuchi village and stuff like that, right? Several houses all in a line. Over there, or over here, yes. I was visiting Satoko's house, but didn't particularly intend to meet her there. I didn't intend or mean to spy on the enemy, her mean uncle, either. Maybe I just wanted to be a little closer to her as her Nini. Pretty words, but I didn't know if they were true. If what Tomita-kun and the others told me was right, it'd be this house. When I recognized it, my feet grew heavy. What did I come here for? My motive for coming here was absurd. When Mion had said at the end that we were powerless, it made me sort of frustrated. I just wanted to do something, anything other than waste the days away praying for a miracle. That's what made me come here. But that was all. Even if I were to witness her uncle actually tormenting Satoko, what could I do? Would I act like a comic book hero, punch the guy in the face and take Satoko away with me? And then live together somewhere far away? That was ridiculous. The cicadas' voices raised in chorus sounded like they were scoffing at me. As though they were saying that if I couldn't do anything and wouldn't do anything, then I should just go back home. I heard a car approaching, so I got out of this way. But the car stopped right behind me, its horn honking shortly once. It's gonna be Oishi-san again. Annoyed hadn't I gotten out of their way, I looked behind me and a familiar face was looking at me out of their driver's seat's window. Oh, it's Irie. Okay, I thought it was gonna be Oishi.
こんにちは、前原さん。こんなところでお会いするとは本当に奇遇です。お家は近くなんですか?
Me being here wasn't normal. Just as I considered somehow giving him the slip, I noticed Satoko sitting in the passenger seat. Oh, Satoko's here.
Satoko?
Look at her, man. Look at her face. Like, yeah, she's kind of very, very broken or something like that.
買い物の帰りに偶然監督にお会いしたんですのよ。送ってくださるというのでお言葉に甘えたのですわ。
自転車でこんなに買い物をしたら運びきれませんからね。
I guess like broken or tired. Maybe like super, super tired. As Coach spoke, he pulled Satoko's bike from out of the back seat where they'd put it. The grocery bags were big and there were 4 of them. They all seemed to be packed full and very heavy.
この袋、セブンスマート?
Seven Smart, 7-Eleven.
おいおい、自転車で行くにはちょっと遠すぎないか？
I looked at the bags and saw they were filled to the brim with sake bottles, snacks that you eat with sake, and boxes of cigarettes. Their weight was one thing, but their contents were nothing less than luxury items.
監督のおかげで助かりましたわ。ちょっと坂道は辛かったですから。
Satoko gave Coach a smile filled with gratitude, but it was incredibly awkward and even heart-rending.
サトコ、この買い物、今晩の晩飯ってわけじゃないだろう？
当然ですわ。私、お酒なんか飲めませんし、おつまみも嫌いですし、タバコなんか吸うわけ。
Wait, can you even send your kids to buy alcohol? Like, for example, I have a kid. Yeah, go buy me some beer. Can they even buy though? I don't know. Maybe sake is different. He made Satoko go to a distant store by herself on her bike, so she could buy dumb stuff like this. And that was the uncle doing, or what was the uncle doing right now anyway? He must have been working up a good sweat at this very moment if he needed to send Satoko out herself, right? If not, then how much? How much had Satoko suffered for no reason? I hadn't intended to voice my feelings, but they may have made it into my face. Coach might have noticed because he clapped me on the shoulder. Just then, one of the houses of the windows clattered open in the face of a vulgar man, the very sight of which made me immediately avert my eyes emerge from within it. Let's see his face. There was no self-introductions necessary. My gut told me that this was the uncle in question. The first thing out of his mouth should have been words of gratitude for Satoko.
Satoko!
Oh, hell no.
缶のガスかけっぱなしで出よったんな、この。
ごめんなさい。でもすぐに買いに行けって言ったから。
やかましいわ。
Wait, this guy doesn't have a face? Come on, show us.
せっかくの近所台無しにしよってん。どうしよったんじゃ。
ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。
It's kind of sad. We haven't seen her act like this, right? Satoko miserably apologized over and over, bowing again and again. She could be perfectly described as a small animal. I had no idea what was happening. Satoko finished shopping for all this heavy stuff that wasn't even for dinner. She only managed to come back because she ran to Coach and he drove her home. If she hadn't been found by him, she'd surely still be by herself, panting and moaning, pedaling her bicycle up that steep hill. What was with those words, those horrible, sleazy words that it said to Satoko? In what country's dictionary did it tell him to say such things to a young girl who just finished shopping? My anger, of course, wouldn't reach him. My uncle displayed no interest in me, instead shouting at Coach.
おや、入江の先生じゃないですか。こんにちは。つったら先生も上がっていきますか。もうオーラスですからすぐ入れますよ。ピンのワンツー、何でもありで。
Wait, what? They're playing? They're gambling?
いえ、遠慮します。さとこちゃんとは偶然お会いしたんで、ちょっとお送りしてあげただけです。すぐに失礼します。
そんな、ちょっとぐらいやってってくださいな。先生お金持ちじゃないですか。
I didn't even understand what her uncle and Coach were talking about. But I knew one thing for sure, none of what he just said had been to thank Satoko in any way.
さとこ、とっととカキも持ってこんかい。ビールも冷めてもうた。冷蔵庫から冷えてるの出してくれな。
てっちゃん、娘に厳しすぎや。
てっちゃん。
もうちょい言いたわらんとかわいそうやで。
あんな娘にゃ このくらいでちょうどいいよ。兄貴ん家にいた頃からそうでよ。
What?
甘やかすと親の言うことをなんも聞かんやっちゃよ。たく。
それよかてっちゃんが妻だぜよ。
椿さんリーチしちゃったで。
Oh, they're playing mahjong.
おお、悪い悪い。なんね。椿、あんたまたリーチかいな。
It looked like it wasn't just her uncle. Some of his friends were over. Okay, hey, wait. What was he? No, what were they doing? Flinging rude words left and right, making Satoko go shopping for your beer. What were they doing?
町からおじさまのお友達が来てて麻雀やってますの。お友達のお夕食もご用意するように言われてますのよ。
なんだよそれ。
Mahjong? He called his friends over for mahjong? They were too busy playing, so they sent Satoko to buy them a crapload of booze from a faraway store. And the first thing he said to her was how she left the gas on? What the hell?
何やってんだよあいつ。麻雀ってそんなのに遊びほうけて聡子にこんなのを買いに行かせるのかよ。
Even though Coach was listening, he pretended he wasn't. There was a line of heavy-looking shopping bags lined up on the ground next to the trunk.
さあ前原さんも手伝ってあげてください。ほら男の子なんですからこっちの重い袋を持ちましょう。
監督こんなのまかり通っていいんですか。こんなの絶対に。
Coach pretended he hadn't heard that violent outburst either. When I thought about it later, his reaction might have been the best thing he could do in that situation. True though, yeah, this is the best thing you could do though. You cannot just go and attack the uncle.
私も2つ持ちますから。ほら前原さんも持つのを手伝ってあげてください。
The bags were packed to the brim with bottles of sake and the bar snacks. They were so heavy. And so filthy, so unfair. They weren't just heavy in terms of weight. They made me feel mortified, and nothing could have been heavier than that.
ケイチさん、無理しないでいいんですのよ。私も持ちますわ。
Satoko mistook my biting back the humiliation as grimacing under the weight and offered to help.
バカ俺をなめるな。
Satoko had never looked down on my physical strength in the slightest.
監督もすみませんわね。重いでしょ。
No, not at all, answered Coach, smiling vaguely. Coolly. But I alone knew. Coach was an adult, so he just knew how to keep his feelings from showing. There was even more anger than I was feeling, burning deep in his eyes.
いや、重いですね。
It wasn't very far to the doorstep of Satoko's house, but the bags squeezed my palms and started leaving red marks. Fury welled up within me, and the back of my throat stung. But even if it all came gushing out, it wouldn't solve anything. So, just slightly gritting my teeth was as much as I could do.
本当にありがとうございますですわ。監督もケイチさんもおかげで本当に助かりましたでございます。
After we carried them to the back door, Satoko said that was enough. Occasionally, we'd hear the repulsive laughing of her uncle and his friends from within, and my insides would seethe. I knew they weren't ridiculing us, and that was why it made me so mad. They made Satoko shop for all this heavy, selfish stuff, and then ignored her and laughed among themselves as they pleased. It was deeply aggravating. Of course, Coach had to have felt the same way. But if he accidentally let his feelings slip into his face, he'd only cause Satoko more worry. He knew all that and spoke coolly as if to say he didn't care.
いいえ、ささやかでもお力になれたなら幸いです。お手伝いできそうなことがあったらいつでも言ってくださいね。
ええ、お気持ちだけでも本当に嬉しいですわ。
That he feels that way. Those words were sad. Satoko herself was sad and resigned that we could only help her so much. But she was right. No matter how much Coach or I went to help Satoko, this was as much as we could do. I felt absolutely ashamed at not having the power to help her any more than this. Burning, boiling emotions were bubbling up within me and rising into my throat. Trembling all over, I almost started to cry from my fury.
俺も力になれることがあったらいつでも力を貸すから。頑張れよな。
I wanted to at least give her those trite words saying that I'd help her whenever she wanted.
ええ、ありがとうございますわ。わざわざこうしてここまで来てくださっただけでも嬉しかったですわ。
Satoko seemed to have guessed what I was doing in a place like this, when my house was in the opposite direction from school.
さあ、もう行った方がよろしいですわ。今は酔っ払ってますから、どんな難癖をつけられるかわかりませんわよ。
She felt guilty getting us involved after we'd helped her, because she wanted to be the only one to suffer this misfortune. That's how it looked and it hurt. I handed my supermarket bag over to Satoko, and then I noticed on the back of Satoko's hand there was something that looked like a bruise.
おい、サトコ、このあざどうしたんだよ。
I knew as much as anyone else how transparent that sounded. I didn't need to hear it from Satoko to know how this bruise came to be.
階段で転んだ時にちょっと打っただけですのよ。
That's the usual excuse. I just slipped.
気になさらないでくださいませ。
嘘だろ。
Coach nudged me in the back. And then he puts his index finger to his mouth to chide me from being so loud.
本当にありがとうございましたですわ。では明日、学校でお会いできるといいですわね。
そんな話してないだろ。その手のあざはどうしたって聞いてるんだよ。
The evening glow finally got to the point where I could see the other concealed oval-shaped bruises and traces of swelling on her neck and her legs and other places too.
階段から落ちたんですの。
Damn, man, this is sad. The very moment my violent, rampaging emotions were about to burst their way out of my throat, I found my mouth being tightly clamped down on. Coach was pressing down on my mouth from behind, wrapping around me tightly with his hands. Because of that, I couldn't say anything. I could only groan, which I did. That was all I could do. I needed to expel all the magma sitting deep within me, because otherwise I'd truly explode into a million pieces that very moment. So I groaned. I groaned. From my mouth, from my whole body, while heat fell in drops from my eyes. I groaned and I groaned to the point of exhaustion. I wrung absolutely everything out of myself. Even having lost my voice, I was still wringing it out all out.
気持ちはわかります。 わかりますから前原さん、今だけこらえてください。お願いですから前原さん。
Endure it for now? And then what, huh? What would happen to her, to Satoko? Her body and mind were wounded and she was being made to suffer like this. Can you not even let me howl in vain at it? Is that it, coach? Are we this powerless? So powerless that we can't even scream from the bottom of our hearts? The voices of the Higurashi made me calm down. I didn't know how long it had been. Satoko abruptly gave a slight bow.
ありがとうございますですわ、ケイチさん。
サトコ。
今、ケイチさんが本当のニーニーみたいに見えました。私の本当のニーニーはいなくなってしまったけど、私にはケイチさんというニーニーがいてくれる。
そうだ、俺がお前のニーニーだ。お前が辛い時絶対に助けてやるから。ニーニーがサトコをきっと助けてやるからな。
Satoshi Hojo, you idiot. Honestly, is there gonna be like a chapter that we're gonna see Satoshi like fully? Like I actually wanna see where he is or whatever, right? If not now, then when? Satoko, she's never been in more pain in her life. If her Nini doesn't save her now, then when will he? Why did you run away? Why did you abandon her? Why did you leave Satoko behind? You don't have any right to call yourself Satoko's Nini.
俺は逃げないからな。
え？
絶対に逃げない。サトシみたいにお前を見捨てて逃げたりしない。絶対に俺はお前を見捨てない。
Slip. Tears trickled down from Satoko's eyes. And then she narrowed her eyes into a smile.
さよなら、ニーニー。
Damn. Satoko took her right hand and awkwardly waved to me.
大丈夫ですわ。今のニーニーので私いっぱい力をもらいましたから。大丈夫。明日まで頑張れますから。大丈夫だからね。今日はさよならでございますわよ。
There was no way that I could say bye or see you tomorrow. And then from inside the house came a throaty, disgusting voice.
サトコ、はよ乾きも持ってこんかい。
さあ、ニーニー、早く行ってくださいませ。もう私は大丈夫ですから。早く。
行きましょう前原さん。これ以上はかえって聡子ちゃんに迷惑をかけます。
監督、ニーニーのお家はちょっと遠いんですの。申し訳ございませんが送ってあげていただけます？
ええ、わかりました。
Coach grabbed me by the collar and with strength I couldn't have imagined him having started dragging me away. And I, unable to oppose him, started getting farther away from Satoko. She waved her hand to us, expression still dark, and disappeared through the back door. Coach got into the car first, then turned around on a narrow path and brought the passenger side door around for me.
前原さんの気持ちは痛いくらいにわかります。いえ、前原さん以上にわかるつもりです。でも、今この場だけはこらえてください。あなたの心は確かに伝わりましたから。だから、こらえてください。でないと。
もう分かってます。すみません。さっきはありがとうございました。
I meekly got into the passenger seat. The car accelerated quietly and Satoko's house grew farther and farther away in the rear view mirror. We made a wide turn and then I couldn't see her house anymore.
え？あなたのお家、そんな遠くなんですか？学校の反対側じゃないですか。
I didn't bother to reply. I would have been hard pressed to give him an answer as to why I was at Satoko's house. Coach didn't say anything more either. For a while, the two of us were silent. The only sounds were the gravel spraying over the road as we drove. I remember how Rena said things were different than last year. At the time, she had Satoshi with her. Satoshi protected Satoko, so that less of sparks fell onto her.
でも今はサトシはいない。
はい。残酷ですが、それが事実です。
Coach seemed to understand what I really meant when I said that.
悲しく、あまりに残酷な話ですが、私たちの決意や努力、尽力には限界があります。
It sounded like an excuse, but he was right. Even if Coach and I wanted to be people Satoko could depend on, that was all. It ended at the front door. No matter how much I shouted that I would be her Nini, no matter how much I shouted that I wouldn't abandon her, and no matter how much Satoko called me Nini, I couldn't do any more than that.
サトシは一体どこに行っちまったんですか？
Right, Satoshi was another story. Her actual brother, Satoshi, he was in a position to protect her far, far better than we ever could. That was the cold, sad truth of the massive gulf between Satoshi and us.
今頃、どこでどうしているんでしょう。
Satoshi left home. I didn't know why. Maybe it was because of Ayashiro-sama's curse, or he disappeared or something. In any case, he wasn't beside Satoko now. At the time, Satoko needed him to protect her most. He wasn't here.
どうして今ここにいないんですか？
Why isn't he here?
一番守ってやらなければならないこの時に。
お社様のたたりがどうとかいろいろ言われてますが、家出したとしか言えません。
ある日を境に帰ってこないって仲間が言ってました。妹の聡子に書き置き一つ残さずに家出を。
サトシ君はコツコツとアルバイトをしてたんです。聡子ちゃんが当時とても大きなぬいぐるみを欲しがってましてね。結構いい値段らしくて、そのためにアルバイトをいろいろとしていたらしいんです。妹思いの兄でしたからね。おじ夫婦のもとで不憫な生活を強いられている妹に少しでも立派な誕生日プレゼントを贈ろうとしているんじゃないかってみんなささやき合っていました。
In the end, he didn't use his savings for a birthday present for Satoko.
サトシ君がいなくなり、警察がいろいろと調べたら、サトシ君の貯金が当日すべて本人によって下ろされていることが分かりました。 方々をいろいろと調べた結果、その貯金を資金に東京の方に行ったんではないかということになりました。
東京？何しに？
家出としか言いようがないじゃないですか。
自分が逃げ出すための資金をコツコツと貯めて、そこまでは勝手ですよ。でも聡子を置いてくことはないじゃないですか。同じ家出するなら聡子も連れて行くべきだった。
Even now, Coach was still calm. He wasn't trying to pour any oil on the fire of my anger at all. He just waited until my anger naturally subsided. After listening to the gravel being crushed under the wheels for a little while, Coach spoke abruptly.
察してください。置いていかれた聡子ちゃんも同じ考えに至ったんです。
I am a burden on my brother, and that's why he abandoned me. He didn't take her with him when he left. How terrible must Satoko have felt being betrayed by the brother she loved so much.
でも聡子ちゃんはとても強い人でした。もちろん親しい友人たちの支えもあってのことでしたが、ああして笑顔を取り戻すことができました。
I recalled how Satoko had spoken of Satoshi so brightly when I was eating dinner with her and Rika-chan a few days ago. That was just a few days ago, right? They were all having fun. And now it's very sad. At the time, I didn't think any more of it than how pleasant their sibling love had been. But now that I did think about it, I realized it was like she was peering into the distance from atop of a pile of tragic perseverance.
サトシ君はきっと帰ってくる。その時までにお荷物じゃなくなった自分を見てほしいって。
聡子はお荷物なんかじゃないですよ。あいつ俺なんかよりよっぽど生活力はあるし、大抵のことは何だってできる。そりゃレナやリカちゃんなんかと比べれば劣る点はたくさんあるかもしれないけど、そこいらのやつよりよっぽど一人前ですよ。
サトシ君がいつ帰ってきてもいいように、そういう風になれるよう努力した結果です。涙ぐましい努力があったんですよ。
While she lived with Rika-chan, while Rika-chan taught her how to handle everything flawlessly, also that she could welcome back Satoshi at any time, so that she could show him she wasn't ashamed.
で、そのサトシはいつ帰ってくるんですか？
I asked Coach, but knew he wasn't able to answer. In any case, Satoshi ran away. He left Satoko and ran away from Hinamizawa. Someone said that when you leave Hinamizawa and run away, Oyashiro-sama's curse gets you, right? Then that made sense. Satoshi running away and his disappearance, that would obviously mean people thought it was the curse, right? And they could all smile, as though it were his own fault, as though he got what he deserved. Hey, Oyashiro-sama, whoever you are. Satoshi didn't vanish because he ran away. You demoned him away with your curse, didn't you? If that's not what happened, then I won't forgive you.
サトシはいつ頃逃げ出したんですか？
去年の綿流しのお祭りの夜、おばが異常者に殺されて、その数日後の聡子ちゃんの誕生日にです。
聡子の誕生日に？
I slammed my hands on the dashboard in front of me with all my might. Satoshi, of all the days, he could have chosen to run away. Their aunt just died a few days before, didn't she? All of your days of suffering were about to end, weren't they? You were just about to start thinking about a new life, weren't you? It's so wrong to be happy about someone dying, but for Satoko and her brother, her birthday had come to a critical turning point. Their mean uncle had fled town and the siblings would be left alone. They should have been able to be happy about that on Satoko's birthday. Satoko was probably waiting for her brother to return the whole time, but she didn't, or he didn't. Waiting for her brother to return when he never did. Waiting with bated breath for her brother to return, her hopes and dreams of a new life to come growing ever larger. But no matter how long she waited, he didn't come back. He didn't even contact her. Satoko, trembling in anticipation of a great present, just when would she have to face the cold, terrible truth? Satoshi, you idiot. I could feel my blood rising to my head in my anger at Satoshi. I was frustrated. I was aggravated. I couldn't forgive him. Satoko still respected and adored her brother, and yet he so heartlessly betrayed her. Such a person wouldn't just come back now when he was most needed. Yes, no one would protect her. Not even her real brother Satoshi.
だから、あなたがニーニーだと認めてもらえて嬉しかったです。
え？
私も聡子ちゃんの幸せを祈る一人ですが、社会的立場があり、日中は仕事をしている身です。私が聡子ちゃんのために割いてあげられる時間は少ない。でもあなたは違います。学校で生活を共にし、聡子ちゃんやサトシ君とも年はほとんど離れていない。あなたは自分ができることに限りがあると思っていますが、それでも私よりはずっと聡子ちゃんに手を差し伸べられる場所にいるのです。だから私の分まで聡子ちゃんの力になってあげてほしい、そう願っています。
そんなことは監督だって。
もちろん年季のある私だからこそできる助けだっていろいろあると思います。同じようにあなたにしかできない助けだってあるということです。私たちは互いにそれを全うすべきだと申し上げたいのです。
Was that a little too complicated? Coach added that, but I shook my head in response. When I heard him say he had job skills, it reminded me that he was an adult in a different position from all of us. Maybe I should ask him about it.
監督は法律とか詳しいですか？
いえ、平均的に疎いですが、何か。
I thought back to when I argued with Mion and the others about Satoko. Our children's argument had only left us with the conclusion that we had to wait and see, but what would an adult think?
児童福祉法でしたっけ？児童の安全を確保するために緊急措置として親子を分離させるという方法があるそうです。
緊急措置？じゃあすぐに聡子をおじの元から救い出せるということじゃないですか？
聡子ちゃんがそれを望まないかもしれません。虐待されている本人が避難を望まなければ弱いでしょうから。
聡子が望まない？どうして？
Coach didn't answer me. I didn't know why he didn't. It was clear as day that Satoko's uncle was being violent and treating her like a slave. So then why? I clamped down on my frenzied emotions and waited intently for Coach to answer. But he never did. It wasn't like he was pretending he hadn't heard me. If I had to say, it was more like he wanted to explain but couldn't put it into the right words.
聡子ちゃんは多分そういういじめに耐えるのを試練だと考えているかもしれません。
試練？変な宗教じゃあるまいし。
ご存知と思いますが、サトシ君は聡子ちゃんをずっとかばってきました。聡子ちゃんもずっとサトシ君に頼ってきました。甘えてきたと言うべきかもしれません。
I'd known for a while that Satoshi had always protected Satoko from their aunt and uncle. But that was his duty as an older brother, not something to worry about.
それがトラウマになったかもしれないんですよ。自分が兄にもたれかかりすぎたから兄が自分を嫌ってしまったんではないかってね。
And for Satoko, the current situation was a retelling of the story of a little over a year ago. But this time Satoshi wasn't here.
だから誰にも頼らずに自分の力だけで試練を乗り越えたい。そういう力を身につけなければサトシ君は帰ってこない。そういう考えになっていると私は考えます。
Now that he mentioned it, Satoko had never said a word about how hard it had been before. I figured she was being threatened not to talk about it, but
みんなと相談して児童相談所とかに通報すべきかなんて話をしてました。
聞いてますよね。昨年も福祉士さんがサトコちゃんのところに行ってるのは。
はい。結局様子見で余計にいじめられたって話も。
あれ、サトコちゃんが自分で通報したらしいんです。で、その結果余計いじめが水面下へ移行してエスカレートした。サトコちゃんに降りかかるいじめも増え、それをかばうサトシ君の負担も著しく増えた。
ひょっとしてサトコ、それ通報した自分の責任だなんて思ってるんじゃ。
Coach nodded quietly.
多分サトコちゃんに通報の話をするととても嫌がるか、その必要はないと強がりを言うと思います。サトコちゃんに内緒で通報したとしても福祉士に対して自分は虐待を受けていないと言い張るでしょうね。
Satoko always acts tough and doesn't readily admit defeat, so I could imagine that easily.
一応児童相談所には裁判所の許可も当事者の許可も一切不要で緊急措置ができる強い権限があるんだそうです。虐待が公然の事実ならサトコちゃんが否定しても身柄は強制的に保護されるでしょう。それはサトコちゃんにとっては負けを意味するものなのかもしれませんが。
勝ち負けの問題じゃないですよ。サトコは現実に。
話を折りますが、身柄が保護されると養護院等の施設に送致されます。そうするとですね、そこで暮らすことになるので、つまり引っ越しということになります。ですから学区変更で転校にもなります。
転校は仕方ないです。それであいつが保護されるなら。
サトコちゃんはその辺の事情も知っています。だからますます保護を望みません。
どうして？
あの家でサトシ君の帰りを待つのがサトコちゃんの生きる理由だからですよ。兄に捨てられ廃人同然になりかけた少女が何に生きる理由を見出したか、あなたのでなくサトコちゃんの価値観で考えてあげてください。
It felt like he was trying to confuse me with that hard to understand roundabout way of talking so unique to adults. The point was that I couldn't do anything about Satoko wanting to stay in that house, and that I should watch until she gives in. In the end, no matter what I said, Coach himself was saying to wait and see.
俺はわかりませんよ。
はい。
俺は本当にサトコが危ないと感じたら誰の意思も聞かずに通報します。その結果サトコは不快な思いをして俺を恨むことがあるかもしれないけど、最終的にはそれがサトコの幸せにつながると信じます。
Coach turned to me and gazed fixedly into my eyes. It was written all over his face. He was shocked at what such a young kid had said.
どうしてあなたはそこまで
Coach, rather normal adults might not have understood. So I taught him the creed and values that I believed in.
サトコは俺の仲間だから。そして俺はサトコのニーニーだから。では理由は足りませんか？
I stared at him with a will as strong and unbreakable as steel as his eyes betrayed a tiny bit of unrest.
いえ足りないなんてことはありません
We were silent for a little while until finally Coach said only that.
誓ったじゃないですか、俺たち。
あすみません
サトコを絶対に泣かせないって。
We made a vow on that day of the barbecue party. I didn't think about it hard at all, but Coach and I still made a promise that we wouldn't ever let Satoko cry. Coach gave me a dry grin of regret, immediately apologizing for not remembering. One way or another, he grinned like that. It made me think that his enthusiasm for saving Satoko was a tiny bit smaller than mine. He lightly hit the brakes, making a skidding noise, and my whole body suddenly fell forward.
ひょっとして前原さんのお家ってあれですかああ前原屋敷が前原さんのお家だったんですね
Before I knew it, we were almost to my house. Damn, man, that was really... Yeah, this episode was really sad. Case file 31. Okay, let's check it. December 1, 1981. Prefecture Juvenile Welfare Division Report. Okay. Satoko Hojo, residence Hinamizawa Village, Shishibone. Consultation circumstances, anonymous telephone SOS of child abuse. Abuse situation, anonymous claims that a female child is suffering from physical abuse by adoptive parents, her guardians. Family structure, mark abusers. Adoptive father, adopted mother, older brother, child in question. Note, in June 1980, the child's parents died in an accident and she was given to her uncle on her father's side, her father's younger brother. Child Consultation Center's response. On the day of the anonymous telephone consultation, the center called the child's school and asked her situation. The next day, the welfare officer on duty visited the child's home and heard what they had to say. Both adoptive parents agreed to the center's coaching, contacted anti-abuse network in the city. As part of the suggested coaching, a district welfare officer in the area began visiting for coaching at fixed intervals. The scrolled note below is stapled to the report. Related information from former official Mr. W. Referred to 1977 document D2-3, number 44. Ask Chief Investigator F from city's education consultation offices. He is well informed about it. Okay, that was it? That was a report, I suppose. But yeah, very sad episode. Especially the way Satoko was looking, right? It was super sad, man. When we started this, it was very happy. And yeah, Keiichi being a big brother to Satoko. And this is happening now, right? And Satoko is, yeah, as well she doesn't want to leave, as what Irie was talking about earlier, right? If she leaves, that means she lost, right? But I wonder though, what's gonna happen? Well, how are they gonna deal with this? I mean, Keiichi, how is Keiichi gonna deal with this? He wanted to fight the uncle already earlier, right? He was shouting, but Irie stopped him. And yeah, let's see. I don't know what's gonna happen yet. It's hard to predict, man. Like, maybe he's gonna fight him, maybe he's gonna hit him. Like in this game, right? Or in this, in this series, basically. Maybe Keiichi would do something to the uncle, right? If he couldn't control himself anymore. Let's see. But yes, we will continue this and do more of Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 3, Tatarigoroshi in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye-bye.